This is Gemara in Sotah, Daf Lamid Aleph. We're holding in the bottom of Lamid Amid Beis, the last narrow line. And again, a little bit of a reminder, many people have reached out, those who would like to share the schus of sponsoring a daf during the summer months. Tammuz and Av, please reach out, as those daf are being recorded prior to the summer. And we pick up on the last line, second to last line, of Lamid Amid Beis. Tanu Rabbanan, says the Gemara, Darash Rav Yossi Haglili. And we continue and we finish up a short piece of Igara to Rav Yossi Haglili Darshans. Bishash Ali Yisrael min Hayam, when Klal Yisrael came out of the Yam, they put their eyes to say Shira. This is Az Yashir. The Ketzad Amru Shira. And how did they say Shira? Not only did the adults, did the Gedalim say Shira, even an infant sitting on the lap of his mother, Vitina Yoinik Mishtei Imai, or a baby nursing from the breasts of his mother. Once they saw the Shechina, which everyone saw, at Kriyas Yam Suf, the infant raised up his neck. Vitinoik, and the baby, Shamadad Mipiv, stopped nursing. V'amru, and they all remarked, Zeh Keli Van Veyu. This is our God, and we will glorify Him. Shenemar, as the pasuk says, for the mouth of the infants and the babies, you've established your might, that even the little babies proclaimed. Zakeli vayim veyu. Higher Rameir Aimer on the last line, Rameir would say, how do we know? Even an ober, even a fetus inside the mommy said Shira. Shenemar, as the pasuk teaches us, as we turn over to Lamid Aleph, Amid Aleph, says the pasuk, B'makelois Baruchu Elokim Hashem Mimkar Yisrael. B'makelois, from the assemblies. Blesses God, does Mimikar Yisrael, from the source of Klal Yisrael. And Mikar over here refers to the Mikar of an Isha, the womb, that even the fetuses who were sitting inside their mammies, even they said Shira Alayam. Asks the Gemara, 1 second, how could they say Zekeli Van Veyu Vale Chazu? They didn't see Hashem, they're inside the mother, they can't see through. Amar Rav Tanchum, says Rav Tanchum, a fascinating nace. Keres lohen, the stomach of the mother, the abdomen, kasbakalaria hamiira v'ra'u, became like a clear glass, and the babies inside were able to see HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Absolutely fascinating. We continue 3 lines down the 2 dots. B'ayim Darash Rav Yeshua ben Hurrikanis. Shloyav ad Iyov, that Iyov served HaKadosh Baruch Hu out of Ahava, as the pasuk says, and the Mishnah quotes numerous psukim. Says the Gemara, 1 second. V'lechsi hai loy, the word loy in the pasuk, the Mishnah the Mishnah indicated that we're not sure if it means loy with an aleph or mitanai, or with the vav. Loy to him or loy to know. As the second Rashi, the second line points out, that what is the suffix, as the Mishnah says, a dayin shakel. It says loy. Let's look at the pasuk. Ibelamid aleph ksiv, loyhu. Ibelamid vav ksiv, loyu. What's the big deal? Just look at the pasuk. Is it with an aleph and it means no? Or is it with a vav and it means him? So the Gemara fires back, and the Gemara says, really? You're asking such a question? In any place that it says, B'lamed Aleph, any time it says an Aleph, Layu, does it really mean no? Elameata, what are you going to do with the pasuk in Yeshayahu? Bechol tzarasam lo yitzar, in all their tzarais, lo yitzar, d'chsev B'lamed Aleph, and achanami d'layu, and does this pasuk really mean with an aleph that Hashem was not in sar over the fact that Klal Yisrael is in pain? I mean, if you're going to suggest such, but the pasuk continues and says that the Malach saved them. So clearly, the lie doesn't mean that Hashem wasn't bothered. It means Hashem was bothered. So rather, la mashma hachi u mashma hachi. So says the Gemara, the word loy with an aleph of course, usually means no, but there are times that it's a mashma, as if it said with a vav, and that's the doubt in our Mishnah. The Mishnah then continued by quoting the opinion of Yehuda and Zakkai that Eov served HaKadosh Baruch Hu out of Yira. So continues the Gemara 10 lines down. The first one in line is Hachi Tanya Rabbi Meir Omer. It says they feared Hashem by Eov and Avraham. Ma yorei Elokim Omer b'Avraham me'ahavo. Just like by Avraham Avinu, it says it out of love. Ask the Gemara of Avraham Gufei and Avraham himself. And again, I introduced that Rav Yochanan ben Zakkai meant fear, that Eov served Hashem out of fear. But of course, if Yeshua ben Hyrcanus that we're starting with, learned that Eov feared HaKadosh Baruch Hu out of Ahava. And that's the detail that we're proving. So says the Gemara, how do we know that Avraham Avinu served from love? Minal and Tachsev, Zera Avraham, Oyhavi, that HaKadosh Baruch Hu refers to Avraham and the descendants of Avraham as Avraham who loved me. So continues the Gemara, so ma'ika, bein oisei me ahava la oisei me yira, says the Gemara. Okay, so tachlis, what is the difference between those that fear HaKadosh Baruch Hu out of ahava and those that fear HaKadosh Baruch Hu out of yira? Explains the Gemara, bein oisei me ahava la oisei me yira. Ika, the difference is, the following brisa. Shimon ben Elazar, Aimer says to Shimon ben Elazar, fearing HaKadosh Baruch Hu from love is greater than fearing Hashem from fear. Why? So one fears HaKadosh Baruch Hu out of Ava. What does it do? It endures the schusim for double the amount, 2,000 years. Where if someone fears HaKadosh Baruch Hu out of Yira, it only endures for 1,000 years. Hacha, how do we know this as the Gemara? Because Hacha, over here, it says, Alal Payim, with regard to Ava. Hassan says by fearing Hashem here, Hashem mitzvah la left her. Ask the Gemara 1 second. The pasuk of Avos Hashem Hasam Nami Ksiv La Hashem mitzvah la left her. But what do you mean? It also says by loving Hashem, serving Him out of love, only 1,000 years, 1,000 generations. Answers the Gemara, I did a samach lei, I did a samach lei. You're right, it says it by both, but the one that's closer, so by Ava, it's closer to the 2,000 years in the pasuk, and by the Yira, it's closer with the 1,000 years. So we conclude this fifth parak with a story. Hanu trei talmidim, there were two talmidim that Yasik Kamei the Rava sitting in front of Rava. Chad Amar le akroin bechal mai. One said, you know what I saw in a dream? The following. Ma Rav Tuvcha asher safanta l'reyecha. How great is Hashem, your goodness, that you have those stored away for those yireyecha, those who fear you. You know what I saw in a dream? You know the pasuk that was read to me in a dream. And they will rejoice, all those that sing in you, la'olam forever, they will sing, those that love you will exalt in you. So Amar Lahu, so Rav responded to them, you're both wonderful and complete tzaddikim, mar me ahava, umar me yira. One of you has years Hashem me'ava, so it's 2,000 years. One of you has years Hashem me yira, and therefore the schusim are only going to last for 1,000 years. Hadron aloch kishem shemayim. We should do an incredible chazara on this parak, and as you'll see, the next parak is a very short parak, which of course just means it leads to more time for chazara b'siyata dishmaya. And we begin this sixth parak, which really brings us back to the world of Sotah, back to Kinui and Stira, the topic of this Masechta. Says the Mishnah, Mishakini le'ishta v'nistira. So who's mekane his wife, he warns her, and then she goes and she secludes with the man. Afilu, even if the husband, how does he know that she's secluded with the man? Shama me'oiva b'reach. The husband heard from a bird. The husband finds out in any manner of the word, he has to go and give a ksuba, even from an oifa bayreach, even from just mere hearsay from someone, that is enough that he has to divorce her and give her a ksuba. Now Rashi points out over here, therefore they are aser, and if she doesn't want to drink, that's the din that we're learning in the Mishnah. Rabbi Yeshua Omer says, Rabbi Yeshua, no, not a mere rumor, that is not enough, but rather it has to be that there's a real shmua. It's the talk of the town, the moon gossip, everyone's talking how this woman was secluded. If after such, Amar Eirechad, Ani Ra'isiyash and Nitmeis, 1:8 says, I saw that she, Lamaisa, committed the sin, La Isa Shaisa, no longer could she drink. The drinking of the Meisait does only by Kinoi and Stira. But if we have a conviction, if we have Eidos that said that she did the sin, no longer is she allowed to drink. It says the Mishnah, not only that, the Naaman is the credibility, the belief over here is a very low level. One aid, a slave, a maidservant, all of enough of an aidus to say that if there was already kinu stira, warning and seclusion, they could testify that she committed the crime. Af lepaisla Biksuba, even to disqualify her from giving the ksuba. And the Mishnah continues that not only are those people believed, what about Chamasai, the mother-in-law, Bas Chamasai, the mother-in-law's daughter, Tzarasa, the co-wife, Yivimta, the Yavimba, Bas Baila, the daughter of the husband, which of course, the common thread, as we've learned in Yavamis, of all these women are, these are all women that dislike this woman, that dislike the wife. So what is the halacha? Re'elu ne'emanus. These women have a credibility with regard to the dinim of Sotah. Not that they can make her lose her ksuba, ella shalai tishta. But it's a middle ground that they have enough of a believability that she's not going to be allowed to drink the Meisait. She didn't have to get divorced, but she will get her ksuba. So proves the Mishnah, really this goes full circle, taking us a month back to Daf Beis over here in Sotah. Proves the Mishnah that even an Eid Echad has believed, Shaya Badin, one would have thought, the original Eidus, the Eidus that she was secluded, doesn't create an Isser forever. And the halacha that we've learned, and we're going to learn again today, is that you need two Eidim to say that she was in seclusion. So one would have thought, Eidos Achrayna, this Eidos, the Eidos that says that she was defiled, and now Shazart Israelam, that she's now going to be Aser and lose her Ksuba in Aydin. One would have thought it's only a din if there are two people. So Talmud Laimar says the Torah ve'eid ein ba, that there's not one aid. And from there we infer, but if there is one aid, that will be enough. Call eidos, any eidos sheish ba, any eidos that there is enough to create the credibility over here. And the Gemara continues that Kalva Chaimer says the Gemara, 1 second. Says the Mishnah, this actually is more of a Gemara type of discussion. But Lamaisa, we're in the Mishnah, says the Mishnah, you're telling me one aid is believed. 1 second. Kalva Chaimer. Maybe I should say a Kalva Chaimer, the opposite. Leidos Rishayna. Me'ata. That what? Uma im eidos achrayna. As we turn over to Lamed Aleph Amid Beis, continues the Mishnah. If the latter eidos shazart Israelim that creates an Israelim, harehi miskayem as beidachar. As we're learning right now, it's mikayem. This eidos achrayna still has a credibility with one aid. So continues the Mishnah. You know what you would think? We should say this Kavachayim reverse. Eidos Rishayna. Certainly it should be enough. So why do you need to aid him for the Kinyu Stira? Tamalaymar. Kimatzaba ervas davar. Says the Torah, Matzah ervas davar. Ulaladu oimer. And elsewhere, previous in Devarim, it says, Al Bishnayim Eidim Yakum davar, which is the classical case of Eidus Malal. Al Bishnayim Afkan Al Bishnayim. And the Gemara is going to discuss this further. Continues the Mishnah, what happens if Eidamer nitmeis, Eidamer loy nitmeis, or Ishaimer nitmeis, Ishaimer loy nitmeis? If one Eid contradicts the second, or if the one woman contradicts the second, halacha is Haisa Shaisa, she still had to drink the Meisaita. But if Eidamer nitmeis, Ushnayim Eimer loy nitmeis, Still Haisha Saisha. Shnayim Omer Nitmeis, V'echad Omer Lo Nitmeis, then Lo Haisa Shaisa. It's really three parts of the Mishnah. Part 3 is regarding contradiction in the Eidos. Part 2 is going to be regarding how many Eidim you need for the seclusion. And part 1 is that regarding the seclusion, we're going to believe even women that potentially would hate this woman. So says the Gemara, let's delve into this Gezer Shava Davar, which is what we said is the Raya, that you cannot have Eidos on the seclusion with one Eid, rather you need two, just like Ervas Davar, just like other forms of Eidos. Says the Gemara, Talmud Laimar, but the Pasuk says, Kimatava Ervas Davar, Pasuk you found in Ervas Davar. So you're darshaning from davar that you need two and not one. Ask the Gemara, why don't we say Talmud Loimar ba? That what? Ba. Only in this case, only about the actual tama. V'eloi is one aid not enough. B'veloi v'kinui b'veloi b'stira. Maybe by kinui stira one aid shouldn't be enough. So answers mi ba'ilei. That's where we should learn, and not darvas davar. Answers the Gemara, hachinami ka'amar. Answers the Gemara, this is really what the Tana is saying. Talmud lo'imar ba, ba'veloi b'kinoi, ba'veloi b'stira. Ba'v'tama ba'alma, b'loi kinoi, b'loi stira, d'loi mehemin eid echad min alan. How do we know in general that one aid is not believed? Nemer kan davar, nemer halan davar, malhalan b'shnei edim, avkan b'shnei edim. Sotah over here is going to be with two Eidim. And we continue in the Gemara, we're 8 lines into the Gemara at the 2 dots. Lamed Aleph Amid Beis, 8 Amr Nitmeis, so we have a contradiction in the Eidim. Says the Gemara, the obvious implication is time because 8A is being contradicted by AB, we have this clash. What if we don't have this clash? Then it would seem that one 8 Echad should be believed. Minahanimili, the Tanarabana Vedain Babishnai Makasa Medaber, Ataimer Bishnai Moin Alabech, Tamalaimer Layokum Edachad Bish, Bimash, Mashanem Layokum Edachad Bish, and the idea that itself should teach me that 1 8 suffices, Matamlaimer Echad. Why does the Pasuk say 1? Zabana Av, Sabinian Av, Tekola Tarakula, Komangush number 8, Hare Kan Shnaim. So when it says 8 Ein Ba, what does that mean? There's not 2 Eidim. But of course, one would believe. So the word aid means two, ada until sheipar l'chaykas of the pasuk explicates echad. V'amerachmana trey less ba. So the aid ba means what? There's not two elachad, but there is going to be one aid, and the pasuk says v'ilon itzbasa asura. So here we see that even in one aid is going to be believed. V'kivon asked the Gemara to midaraisa echad me'amen, like we just proved. So wait 1 second. The Mishnah spoke about a case when we have a clash in the Eidos. Says the Gemara, 1 second. If you just prove me that on Deraisa level 1 8 is believed, so how could the second 8 contradiction? Why not? V'amarula, classical klal. Call Makim Sheminu Tayrei Echad. Anytime the Torah gives a credibility to 1 8, Hare Kan Shnayim, that creates as if there are 2 Eidim, and therefore it's as if there's 2 Eidim. So the second Eid that comes to clash should have no believability. Why? Because it's Ki'ilu, there already are 2 Eidim. Ela Amar Ula, rather Ula teaches, Tini, you have to learn in the Mishnah, that the case where 1 8 said she was nitbeis, 1 8 says not, Tini la isa shaisa, that lamaisa she will not be allowed to drink. Chenam Rav Yitzchak lo haisha shaisa. Rav Chia Amar, Rav Chia argues no. He says haisha shaisa, even with 1 8 she would drink. The Rav Chia kasha dula. So what do we do with the stira? Answers Gemara like kasha kan vazachas kan bezeh achar zeh. If the 2 Eidim come together, then we never had a moment to give 1 Eid the status of 2 Eidim, and therefore it will create a clash and still allow her to drink. When do we say that 1 Eid gets the believability of 2, and now second Eid does not have any believability? That is when they come bivas achas. We're going to stop over here by Tanan, and we'll pick it up from here the next year. B'siyata dishmaya.